Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be going over what we know so far about Animal Crossing New Horizons by quickly doing a Treehouse live rundown of the gameplay we've seen so far. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So as you most likely know by now, Animal Crossing New Horizons has been officially revealed as the new Switch mainline game and is expected to release March the 20th, 2020. I would like to start off by saying my first impressions are pretty far gone by this point. Originally I was a bit shocked to see some of the new features and I wasn't really sure what I was looking at in the trailer. The simplicity, for example, and all the crafting materials laying around had me worried this was more of a mini game or a spin-off than the mainline game we were hoping for. However, after rewatching several times and learning more about the gameplay, I'm super hyped and the concept is growing on me more and more every day. Anyway, Animal Crossing New Horizons is essentially a brand new adventure where we start with nothing but the hopes and dreams of a new Nook business plan. Thanks to Nook Inc., we are setting up camp and starting a new life on a desert island with the aspirations to grow and develop the island into a thriving community. Of course, we start out in a tent given to us by the trusty Tom Nook, whom of course we will inevitably owe trillions of bells to. The good thing is, just like in New Leaf, we can place this tent anywhere we like, including the beach. I get the feeling nearly everyone will be placing tents there just because we can. Just as expected with any Animal Crossing game, there is tons of furniture available in the game from the very beginning. A worthy feature to note is at this point, just like Happy Home Designer, all furniture is positioned at half units, not the giant grid spaces seen in previous games. This means we can place items in many more locations and much closer to each other, which also gives the illusion that actually there is no grid at all. What's more is, we can finally place furniture outside. We can drop them as a leaf if we just want to store them somewhere safe, or we can place the item just like we would in a tent or house, which is a feature I've been desperate to see in a mainline game. Of course, moving them around is just as easy because we can drag any items around inside or outside in the same way. The Treehouse live presentation gave us a pretty good insight into the menu system too. As expected, we have a main compartment for tools and furniture, and what looks to be a second for clothing and possibly designs. This is just the demo version though, so I'm sure way more menus will be added down the line. I think everyone is pretty much hoping for some form of toolbox, just to keep the tools from using up that valuable pocket space. The next biggest feature we know is the new device called the Nook Phone. This is a smartphone much like that in Pocket Camp and is the home for all apps and features of the game. At first look, we can see buttons for a camera to take custom in-game pictures, DIY recipes which focuses more around crafting, but more on that later, Nook Miles which is essentially a bunch of challenges much like the badges we earned in New Leaf, a map for the island, and a call feature. This is most likely the centre of our interaction with New Horizons, whether it's calling up a friend to help around town, island, or to arrange a trip to someone else's. Of course, not too much information has been shown at this point, but we have seen some NPCs including Tom Nook and his nephews Timmy and Tommy. Of course, these guys will be helping us throughout our journey by providing us with an area to craft items as well as buying and selling goods. One of the primary features of New Horizons looks to be Tom Nook's crafting bench. As you have probably already noticed, we can collect a huge range of items from different types of wood to rocks and other materials, even clams from the beach that can be used to craft fishing bait, which actually sounds kind of cruel. Anyway, with starting our adventure on the island with nothing, crafting our own tools and basic furniture sounds pretty cool. I really love the idea of developing our new island from scratch, and I think as time goes on, everyone's islands will start to look completely unique from each other, which is awesome. But what about other NPCs, you ask? Well, it has already been confirmed that Isabelle will return, just like other NPCs, but it all depends on how well your island is progressing and whether or not Tom Nook feels they will be an asset to the island. I think this will work pretty much in the same way as Public Works projects did in New Leaf, where at random times Nook will be like, hey, maybe we could use the secretary, let's invite someone, and just like that Isabelle joins our crew. This will most likely be how we get museums, police stations, retails and more. We start the game out with just a tent, the Nook family business and 2 other local villagers. The cool thing is, it looks as though we will be able to build the villagers' houses for them and place them anywhere we like. On the map in the gameplay, we can see our 2 villagers have houses conveniently placed next to each other, and I'm super happy to say it has been confirmed by the developers that a new villager will ask you if it's okay to place their tent somewhere, and if we don't like it, we can place it for them. This is something I think everybody wanted and opens up the game to have specific areas around the island for residents if we want to, for stores or an orchard and things like that, so that's really awesome. Using the Nook Phone, we can also call up fellow players and split the Joy-Con for up to 4 players on one system. This is cool if we want to turn a family member into a slave and have them help collect a bunch of crafting material for us. Online and local multiplayer can also bring up to 8 players to our island too, which is awesome. Of course, the main idea of this game, at least to start with, is to craft our way up and develop something wonderful from nothing. Some items such as the bonfire, for example, will require a previously crafted item to craft, such as the campfire. This is a feature that already exists in Pocket Camp, and I guess this gives us a little extra to do to achieve something cool in the game. But don't worry if you simply hate crafting or you don't like this feature, it's looking as though this isn't mandatory and you can pretty much sell everything you find and buy everything with bells instead, which is an awesome option to have. Anyway, to wrap up, the game of course has all 4 seasons and even new weather conditions. Just walking around we can see some amazing details such as the wind blowing the flowers and the leaves on the trees, and even shadows cast by clouds on super bright days, and I think this is amazing detail which will no doubt be even more polished and pleasing to see by the final release. One feature also announced during the Treehouse Live is the game settings for Northern and Southern Hemispheres. Finally, all you guys in the Southern Hemispheres can set your season pattern to match your hemispheres if you want to. How great is that? Now, we've pretty much covered all the main features that have been shown off during the Treehouse Live, but there is so much more to be announced. For example, there are rocks around the top of the map and what looks to be cliffs. Will we have the option to expand the island? Can we dig up ramps to the cliffs? We just don't know. We also have a plane icon at the bottom which suggests there is a way to leave the island, and so much more. But over the coming months there will be tons of new things to discover, and I'm pretty hyped right now. The more I watch and the more I talk about it, the more this feels like a proper Animal Crossing experience. Of course, I do plan on looking at these features and functionalities in more depth and detail, but for now, I just wanted to do a quick roundup of what we've seen so far. So yeah, this game is definitely growing on me. I can't wait to find out even more. Of course, stay tuned for any news and updates as and when it happens. I always try to get videos up the same day that the news drops. So yeah, as always, a special thank you to this channel's Patreon supporters. You guys rock. Don't forget to head over to our new Discord server too. And of course, if you got this far in the video, please comment Hemisphere just to let me know you did. That would be super awesome, and be sure to include whether or not your first impressions of New Horizons have changed since first seeing the trailer. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining. Please be sure to leave a like if you did. Thanks for watching, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.